LinkedIn ads stole $100 from me on day one. My name is Jan Ragnerud, and I've been running a digital marketing agency for over 15 years now, managing multi-million-dollar ad budgets for clients across many industries in B2B and B2C. And I say that not to brag. I say it so that you can understand that this wasn't a beginner's mistake. I'm about to show you this. This was LinkedIn's design. 3 default settings already switched on before you touch anything. Quietly routing your budget into low quality traffic while your actual target audience, well, they never see your ad. This looks like features to you, right? Well, no, they're not. And if you're running LinkedIn ads right now, or you're about to start, these settings are likely costing you money you didn't even know that you're losing. I'll show you exactly what each one does, why LinkedIn turns them on by default. Let's get into it here. Before we get into the actual settings, you need to understand one thing about LinkedIn ads, because it reframes everything else I'm going to show you today. See, LinkedIn by default is expensive. I know that's relative, but it is, so work with me here. I've been personally seeing multiples of $5, $6 to over $15 per click, depending on the audience that I'm targeting. And that's not a complaint. That's just a reality of the platform. So for context, Facebook lead ads, that little screen that pops up, average is about, $1 to $2 per click. And Google ads averages $4 to $5 a click, according to WordStream's 2025 benchmark data. Now, LinkedIn can run 3 to 8 times higher than both of these other platforms. People pay that premium for one reason: precision. On LinkedIn, you can reach director of operations at a 200-person SaaS company in, let's say, the healthcare space. Very, very precise. That level of targeting and that specificity doesn't exist anywhere else. You're not buying volume here. You're buying access to the exact buyer that you want. And that's the entire value proposition. The precision is key, which is why what I'm about to show you is so important to understand. LinkedIn's default setting, as I said, already switched on before you touch a single thing. Quiet dismantle that precision the moment you launch. You think you're reaching your exact buyer. Well, you're not. And because every click is costing you $8, $10, $15 plus, by the time you realize it, the budget is gone. And that's exactly what you'll see here. $100 day one, 0 leads. When you're setting up a new campaign in LinkedIn's campaign manager, that's the equivalent like the Facebook ads manager, you'll come across a section called placements. And by default, there's an option already checked there called the LinkedIn Audience Network. And the LinkedIn Audience Network, here's basically how LinkedIn themselves describe it. The LinkedIn Audience Network helps you increase ad set scale and reach more targeted professionals where they engage off LinkedIn. That is not great. In fact, more reach, more professionals, better performance. Who wouldn't want that? Well, it sounds great. In fact, that's the reason why they add that setting on by default. But here, based on experience now, here's what it actually means. LinkedIn takes your ads and they distribute it across a network of, third-party websites and apps completely off the LinkedIn platform. This is sort of like the Google Display Network or the Audience Network on Facebook. These are cheap clicks, random websites, banner ads, mobile placements inside apps. This is display inventory that LinkedIn doesn't own or control. And this sounds familiar? Like I said, if you've ever run Facebook ads and accidentally left the Facebook audience selection on the audience network, well, you see a lot of clicks and it's cheap. Now, caveat here, because of AI and the improvements that Facebook has made over time, especially in the last 12 to 18 months, you may want to test this. Keeping it on and then using exclusions, there are some things that are changing here. But essentially, it's the same concept and the same result. But here's where it gets worse. And I want you to pay attention to this because LinkedIn actually tells you this themselves. If you look it up and study their documentation, third-party publishers not been validated for compliance with MRC guidelines. MRC stands for the Media Rating Council, the independent body that essentially sets the standard for what counts as a legitimate, measurable impression or click in digital advertising. LinkedIn is literally telling you in their own UI, their own documentation, that clicks and impressions coming from this network, well, they're not independently verified. So you are paying for LinkedIn prices, $6 to $15 or more per click. And this is for traffic that LinkedIn themselves won't vouch for. And by the way, I'm generalizing again when I say these prices because it'll appear as if it's working because the cost is less. But this is a liability. And this is on by default, as I said. And here is where you turn it off. So if you watch the screen now, when you're inside the campaign manager, setting up a new campaign, you'll hit the placement step. You'll scroll down and you'll see it. And there you can see this checkbox for LinkedIn Audience Network. And it's checked. Well, uncheck it immediately, every single time. Don't overthink this, okay? Just turn it off. And this is for beginners especially. You have no data yet. You don't know what's working. The last thing you need is half of your budget going to unverifiable off-platform traffic while you're still trying to figure out if your ad and your offer are even resonating. And as I said, the fact that this is on will sometimes even bypass the professional. So I was going fast. I was doing a test ad. I forgot, okay? This is not something you forget. So once you have the data though, once you know what converts, maybe then you can experiment a little bit. This is sort of back to what I was talking to you about Facebook ads and the audience network. You want to test all this. But when you're first starting out, protect your budget, okay? Keep your ads on LinkedIn where the audience is the reason you're paying the premium price in the first place. And this is an investment. So price is not the right word. Investment is the right word. All right. So that's trap number one. Let's go ahead and look at trap number two. All right. So you've turned off the audience network. Your ads are staying on LinkedIn. So now I can say you're good to start. But there's a second default setting that will undermine your targeting in a completely different way. And it's arguably more dangerous because it's more subtle. And it's called audience expansion. And you've probably noticed this on Facebook as well. These are very similar terms and they act similarly. But here's how LinkedIn describes it. Reach people who are similar to your target audience based on attributes like job titles, companies, or skills. Again, it sounds helpful on the surface. LinkedIn is going to find you more people like your audience. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Well, here's the problem. You didn't build your audience casually. And again, I am assuming this is a new account, right? We can talk about, optimal settings later, but you chose a specific job title, specific seniority levels, or specific company sizes because that's who your offer is built for. And that's who you think is going to convert. That's your buyer. Audience expansion then takes that carefully built audience and quietly broadens it. LinkedIn's algorithm decides who is similar enough to your target. And that logic is, well, it's loose. I've seen campaigns targeting VP of sales at mid-market SaaS companies end up reading sales coordinators, sales development representatives, SDRs, and people who listed sales experience, which is a general term, on a profile they haven't updated in, 2-3 years, right? And here's why that matters so much on LinkedIn specifically. You are paying premium cost per clicks precisely because of who you're reaching. And the moment that you start diluting that audience, you're paying LinkedIn prices for, well, frankly, non-LinkedIn quality leads and traffic. And guess what happens? Your cost per lead goes up. You are right. And the close rate, and depending on the funnel, the close rate goes down. I'll generalize there. And nothing in the dashboard tells you clearly that audience expansion is the reason why. It's the trap I talked about, the second trap here, that frustrates experienced marketers, not just beginners. Again, this is because results don't fall off a cliff. They just slowly get worse. So leads come in, but they're not quite right. Something is off. And the targeting looks fine on paper. If you're dealing with clients, everybody is happy. Well, no. The issue is that it's invisible until you know what to look for here. And you know what to look for now because I've explained it to you. Now here's where you turn it off. During your campaign setup, so follow along here, in the audience section, you'll see a checkbox. And here it is, audience expansion. Again, it's on by default. Go ahead and uncheck it now. Do this on every campaign. As I said, we're assuming beginner campaigns, without exception. The one time you might consider testing it is when you have months of conversion data and you know exactly what your cost per lead looks like with tight targeting, and you're intentionally trying to scale reach. Now, even then, similar to how we do this in other platforms like Facebook and Google, you test it in a separate campaign. But you don't want to mix it in when you're still trying to establish your baseline, right? So for now, off. Always off, okay? That's 2 settings down. And we are 1 more to go here. Now, this one is a little bit more intricate. It's about how LinkedIn spends your money, not just where it sends it. So we've turned off 2 settings that are sending your money to the wrong places. Wasting your money, essentially. This third one is different. This isn't about where your LinkedIn sends your ads. This is about how much control you have handed over to LinkedIn the moment your campaign goes live. And this is about budget control here. And most beginners have no idea that they have done this. Again, it's sort of sneaky hidden here. When you set up a new campaign, LinkedIn defaults your bidding strategy to something called maximum delivery. By default, again, this is the behind the scenes hidden sneaky LinkedIn tax on your money. So here's how LinkedIn frames it. Their system will automatically optimize your bids to get you the most results for your budget. And it sounds like LinkedIn is working for you here. Wow. Yeah, I think I'll do that. No. For a new campaign with 0 performance data, it's actually the opposite. Maximum delivery doesn't optimize for your results. It optimizes for your spend. And you want to be very specific about how you manage your money here in these new campaigns. LinkedIn's system is built to exhaust your daily budget as efficiently as possible. Efficient for LinkedIn's revenues and the board, their investors, not necessarily for your return. Here's the number you need to understand before you touch the budget field. LinkedIn's own campaign documentation even says it. They can confirm that they can overspend your daily budget by up to 50% on any given day. And if you're new on a $100 budget, that's $150 charged in a single day, and that will freak out beginners for sure. But there's a monthly protection cap here, and it's your daily budget multiplied by 30.4, which is the average number of days in a month. Google does this also as well. You can look it up. Now, on a $100 budget, that puts your maximum monthly exposure at 3,040, correct? So for an experienced operator managing that deliberately, that's a known variable that you can plan around. So for a beginner who set $100 a day, which by the way is very common, thinking that was a hard ceiling, that'll be a surprise bill at the end of the month. And if that beginner is also left audience network and audience expansion on, well, you just paid $3,040 for the worst possible traffic LinkedIn could serve you. If you are also very much a geeky person and watching every other day, you'll see that the budgets will go up and down, and that might scare you as well. So the fix here is a manual CPC, manual cost per click management. That means that you set the maximum amount you're willing to pay per click. LinkedIn enters auctions on your behalf and up to that number. So if you set it to $3.54, that's what it'll do. Because LinkedIn operates on a second price auction model. And you typically pay less than your stated maximum, not the full ceiling you set. The starting point I use with a new campaign is bid 20 to 30% below LinkedIn's suggested range. I might even go lower than that. Sometimes you'll see a $20 bid. I might start at $5, right? This you'll have to test. Each market is different here. LinkedIn's suggested bid is calibrated to win auctions quickly and spend your budget fast. And that is not necessarily, right, your objective at the start. You want to manage this tightly. Your objective is a controlled data collection and understanding what your audience respond to, what your actually cost per lead looks like, what your offer does. The offer is critical, and what it does in the market before you commit to scaling. Now run this for a minimum of 3 to 5 to 7 days before adjusting anything. Now, caveat here, if you put it too low, you're not going to get any impressions, so you need to bump it up. So if it's not delivering fully, then you raise it maybe 5 to 10% and then wait for another 24 to 48 hours and then see if it's taking. In fact, you might want to raise it higher and then push it back down to find that balance. So resist the urge, though, to optimize daily. This algorithm needs some time, just like they all do, to find its footing, if you will. And if you're changing variables too quickly, it means you'll never get a clean data set that allows the system to learn from. You're really buying information first. This is market intelligence here. Scale comes after. Here's the change. Under budgets and schedule in Campaign Manager, switch the bidding strategy, as you can see here, from maximum delivery to manual CPC. Then enter your starting bid at 20 to 30% below what LinkedIn suggests. 3 settings, all 3 corrected, and now let's build the campaign the right way from the ground up. If you've been running LinkedIn ads and you're not seeing the returns you expected, or you're about to launch your first campaign and you want to make sure it's built to perform from day one, well, that's exactly what my team does. We've spent 15 years plus, as I mentioned, building and managing digital ad campaigns for clients in both B2B and B2C, from small to large budgets. Now we know where the money gets wasted, and more importantly, we know how to stop it. So if you want us to take a look at your campaigns, or even help you build one the right way from scratch, the link below will take you straight to our calendar. This is the business calendar for chaosmap.com, which is the agency here in Los Angeles. Click the link below and book a call. And by the way, there's no pressure here, no pitch deck, just a real conversation about what's working, what you're doing, what you're not doing, and how we do it differently. And I'll see you there. And by the way, if you found this useful, I would love a subscription and a like. And I look at all the comments below myself. And these are the things I cover every week. Digital marketing on steroids, real campaigns, real settings, and real results. So I appreciate you being here today, and I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.